Welcome back to today's college football pick video play for September 13th, 2018. And this one talking about this ACC matchup on Thursday night between the Boston College Eagles and the Wake Forest Deacons. Going to give our lean on where we see the better value on the over-under. That total number sitting at about 53.5 points. If you guys are interested in getting our pick against the spread in this matchup, as well as all of our Week 3 picks in college football, you can access those over at our main website, stumpthespread.com, which is linked down in the video description. So coming into this, both of these teams sitting at 2-0, and neither of them have gone against the toughest schedule by any means. Probably would say that Wake Forest maybe a little bit tougher of a schedule thus far, especially considering they had to go on the road in Week 1. But the road team here, Boston College, Week 1, getting past UMass by a final of 55-21, a solid offensive showing there from BC, and then they carried that over into their matchup this past week at home, taking down Holy Cross by a final of 62-14. So through the first 2 weeks of action, Boston College certainly showing very well on the offensive side of things. It's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do here offensively against obviously a much more competent defensive opponent than what they've been facing thus far. And if we look at what Boston College has been doing as they went down the stretch run of last year in 2017, that's when they really started hitting things and going in a positive direction. They ended up winning 5 out of the last 6 regular season games, and that's when we saw a big uptick from the Eagles on the offensive side of the ball. In those victories, they put up 42-39, 35-41, and 45 points respectively. All of those coming within ACC action. And then in their bowl game against Iowa, which you would feel like is one of those traditional hard-nosed type matchups, lower scoring, they put up 20 points in that one, so definitely a slight step back there. But still the total in that game reached 47 points, which might be a little bit higher than what you would expect in a game against an opponent like the Iowa Hawkeyes. So Boston College last year, they played Wake Forest very early on in the campaign in Week 2. And in that result, it was at home for Boston College, and it was one of their worst offensive performances of the year. But like I said, they didn't really start hitting their stride until they started on that winning streak within conference play throughout the second half of the regular season. But they came up well short in that one, losing by a final of 10-34 in what was a pretty good showing there from the Deacons. So now talking about the home team, they've opened up 2-0 as well, getting past Tulane in what was a tricky matchup there Week 1 on the road, grabbing that victory by a final of 23-17, and then Wake Forest showing a bit more of their offensive strengths against a weaker FCS opponent in Week 2 at home, beating the Towson Tigers by a final of 51-20. And Wake Forest, in terms of what they put up last year, a respectable step in the right direction. They went 8-5 overall, including a very impressive bowl performance in what was a high-scoring affair, beating Texas A&M by a final of 55-52. And Wake Forest taking a massive step in the right direction offensively last year. And what we've been getting from Wake Forest so far this season, under quarterback Sam Hartman, actually been really impressed with the youngster has been able to do through his first 2 starts as a freshman. He's already thrown for 620 yards and 4 touchdowns against a better defensive opponent today. Also going to be looking at what Hartman's able to do, but based on what I've been seeing from this freshman through the first 2 weeks of action, he looks like he's going to be a very positive influence on this Wake Forest program, not just this year, but down the line as well. So based on these two squads, definitely over the last year or so, going towards the end of last regular season and then opening up this season, certainly been seeing more solid offensive performances in comparison to lower scoring defensive matchups. So with that being the case, and the total sitting at a reasonable number here at about 53.5 points, we're going to go ahead and take the over as the better value play. Again, if you want this pick against the spread, as well as all of our picks for Week 3's action in college football, you can access those over at stumpthespread.com, linked down in the video description. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we hope to see you guys back here for our next video.